Thanks to Vantrue for sponsoring this video. All right, so here's the story of how I totaled my Tesla Model 3. So a few months ago, I was driving my mom to the airport on the freeway and boom, someone rear-ended me, middle of a 5-lane freeway, and I'm with my 70-year-old mom. And I definitely learned a few things about my car, how it held up, and things I would have done differently. So first off, I am going down the freeway. I'm probably driving in traffic around like 35, 40 miles an hour, and a big car behind me plows into me, maybe going 70 miles per hour. Right away, I'm kind of in a state of shock. My seatbelt just tightens on me. It tightens so hard that it actually left bruises on me. And my mom and I are just like complete shock. My phone calls 911. 911 comes in over inside the car, and I'm talking to an operator trying to figure out what just even happened, and I smell smoke. Instantly, I'm like, we have to get out of the car. We're an electric car, and if it does catch fire, we know that those are very difficult to put out. So we get out of the car, but at the same time, we're also on a 5-lane freeway, so it's sort of like going back through my mind, which one is safer, to be in the car or to be out of it. Later, I came to my senses and I realized it was most likely the pyro fuse that was blown, making that smell. We talked to the guy behind us. He says he was playing on navigation. Who knows, but for whatever reason, he plowed into us, but he admitted fault right away. Ambulance, fire trucks, police cars, everybody showed up about 45 minutes or so later. So we were sitting there for like a good amount of time trying to figure out what to do. The car was actually in a shutdown mode, so I wasn't able to drive it off of the freeway. We're just sitting there, again, in the center of 5 lanes of traffic going by us on either side, and it was pretty scary. And the police officer offered to go try to get our dash cam footage from our Tesla. He said he was familiar with Teslas. He knew how to do it as long as he had my permission, which I gave him. And he went to go get it and he wasn't able to. And I assumed it was probably because the vehicle was in this, again, shutdown mode. So I get home, and a few days later, I download a data recovery software to try to get access to my Tesla dash cam footage. You know, I have 8 cameras on my Tesla, and I thought I should have pretty good footage. But it turns out that when the car went into that shutdown mode, it was actually going into a high voltage shutdown mode, and all the footage was gone. I have footage leading up to the crash, and then right before it, it's wiped, it's gone. And so here I am now, pretty big accident with 0 footage. So one of the things I would have done completely differently is to install a proper dash cam into my vehicle, and today that is exactly what I'm gonna be doing. So today I'm installing the Vantrue E1 PRO on my Tesla Model X. Obviously, I wish I would have had this on our Model 3, but I picked this one because it has the smallest 4K camera on the market. It's also won all kinds of design awards, and it's very discreet. I don't want anything extra in my vision. I like that minimalistic look inside my Tesla. We're gonna go ahead and install this and review it for you guys today. So Tesla, of course, natively has its sentry cam, but obviously that's not a professional dash cam, and clearly it has its limitations. So I found Vantrue, and I immediately knew that this one was right because they specialize in dash cams, and you get the smallest footprint and the highest quality. The E1 PRO is a single channel dash cam, but they also sell 2-channel front and rear cams, and even 3 and 4 channels, and motorcycle dash cams too. Unboxing it actually reminds me of unboxing like an iPhone or something, because look how premium it is inside of here. Right here, very small. So this is your dash cam right here. It's a good amount of weight to it still. This is the mount right here. This just sticks right onto the glass, and see, that just slides right in there. Like, that's it. The best part is it comes with the stickers to let people know that you have a dash cam, don't mess with me. That is especially useful these days if you own a Tesla. So here is everything that it came with. There's not much to it. So you can just plug it directly into a 12-volt, or you can have it professionally installed. If you want to have it hardwired, you can go to a Best Buy. They do it pretty cheap. Or you can do it yourself. It does come with the tools so that you can hide those wires away. You do need to buy a micro SD, which they sell on their website, or if you already have one, you can use that. You can see it tells you how to put it in. This is the speaker, so you can listen to playback, and then Right here is where you can turn it on and off, but you can also press this and it will save it to the SD. As you know, it's always recording over itself in a loop, but if there is something you want to save, you just push that button. Let's go ahead and peel this off. So the screen right here is not touch screen. Everything is pretty much going to be controlled through these 3 buttons right here, and you can either do long presses or short presses in order to control it. The first button over here has a camera on it, and if a short press will give you the record on and off, and a long press will do the screen on and off. Next up, you can see there's a little V on this button. This is where you would do a short press for the mic on and off, or the long press would give you the parking mode. And then the next button has 3 little lines on it. Short press is the menu, long press is the Wi-Fi on and off. That's really all there is to it. We're gonna go out to our Model X, plug it in, and test it out. We have an electromagnetic sticker here. I'm gonna go ahead and peel off number 1. And center right there. This install is as straightforward as it gets, and you can also get it hardwired and professionally installed just about anywhere. And if you live in LA or New York, Vantrue offers in-store installs in those cities. Now I'm just gonna plug this into my cigarette lighter down here. There are 3 things that I would recommend buying in addition to this dash cam. Now the first one, obviously you need that micro SD card. The second one is that hardwire kit because it's a lot cleaner look overall. And the third one would be that polarizing filter because it helps a lot with the glare from the windshield. One of the things about this dash cam is it does have the screen on it, but it's not a touch screen and it's kind of hard to navigate it with these little buttons on here. However, it does have an app and it is also voice controls. Turn on Wi-Fi. Going to turn on Wi-Fi, and we are going to go ahead and add a device here. So you can see on the app that I'm able to see everything that it sees, and this is a nice way to be able to adjust your camera to make sure that you get that perfect view right there. You can see my messy garage right now, but we're gonna go drive around in a second. Side by side, you can see just how small this thing is. It's not much bigger than a key fob and about the same size as your charging brick. Again, this is the smallest 4K camera on the market. It actually has a Sony sensor inside, so you know you're getting premium footage. It just looks much sharper than the 720p footage that comes from our Tesla. The night vision is also significantly more powerful because the footage actually uses HDR tech, so you get far better detail in dark and low light environments. And this E1 Pro model has a built-in supercapacitor, which is an advanced form of battery, allowing the camera to operate in extreme cold and extreme heat. And again, side by side with our existing Tesla cam, you can't even overstate the clarity of the E1 Pro footage versus the Tesla cam, which is not even designed for the purpose of being a dash cam. But the footage speaks for itself. Even on the darkest nights, you get incredible detail and vibrant colors out of every shot. It's also important to note that the footage is compressed by both the editing software and YouTube before it gets to your screen, so it's even sharper in person. I have my dash cam. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it into my computer and show you guys some of the features that you can access through the computer. Also, when the accident happened, I had no clue where I was, and one of the nice features on this is it has GPS tracking. So this is one of my favorite features. With the built-in GPS module, the dash cam records your route and driving speeds. You can track your route when playing back videos on your phone or your computer. So where do we stand right now? We are actually still dealing with the insurance companies and kind of fighting it. You guys know that that car had full self-driving in it, so we're trying to figure out what the cost of full self-driving should be with the insurance companies because we know what the cost of it should be. This was also the vehicle I had planned to give my son for his first car. It had full self-driving in it, and I had done all these upgrades on it myself. I had really poured my blood, sweat, and tears into that vehicle and customized it, so it just really makes me sad to have to get rid of it. We talked to the auto body shop, and it did its job in terms of absorbing the impact in the trunk and keeping me safe.
Bumper's plastic, so you can't really tell how hard it got hit, but this is going to be the impact bar, which is mounted to the vehicle. That took the brunt of the force. Rear body panel got crushed, obviously. The trunk got crushed as well. All that energy got transferred where you can see your rails. These are going to be part of your rails, so you can see there's a big kink on this side. This one is not too bad, but it's still got a little bit there. This all got pushed in, so push your frame rails forward. Once you look at the bottom of the vehicle, you can see where the subframe has shifted as part of your suspension. Here at the bottom of the floor got bent as well. You can see it was a truck that hit it because most of it's on top. Yeah. You know, if it was a smaller vehicle, you would have gone under. These vehicles do take a hit pretty well. They're very safe vehicles. Everything is made to crush, so you know the energy doesn't transfer all the way to the passengers. Okay. It did buckle a little bit on the quarters here. It's not too bad. Okay. But it's usual with this kind of a hit.
And the battery shut off almost immediately after?
Yes, so anytime any airbags or seatbelts are deployed, there's a power fuse. That's a safety mechanism. It automatically shuts down the battery.
And that obviously is the most important thing, is that I'm still here, my mom is still here, and it's, you know, a quality, well-built car, but the damages were over $27,000 to that vehicle. And it's totaled. I mean, what are you gonna say? It's a 2018 Tesla Model 3, and I really wish I had dash cam footage to go along with this. I've been advised that it would have been extremely helpful for our case with everything to have that footage, and next time I will be prepared for it. Let me know what you guys think, and if you've been in a car accident with your Tesla, how was everything resolved? What did they value full self-driving at? I will definitely be keeping you guys tuned as we finish everything out here and let you guys know how it goes. And if you guys would like to get a dash cam, I highly recommend Vantrue's dash cams. This is the E1 Pro that I've been trying out today, but they have all kinds of dash cams available for you guys, front, back. There's so many different accessories to go along with it. I'll link everything down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.